Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, guys, gals, and pals. I like that. That's kind of cute. How are we today? It's Sunday. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. I'm so excited for nothing. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know why I said I was so excited, but I've been doing things over the week that have been keeping me busy, like go to the gym and learn new things, upskill myself, but I don't think I really have much to be excited for. Life is just lifing. But hopefully you had a great Valentine's Day. I know I did. Um, we went to Korean barbecue. That was nice. That was really nice. Um, so yeah, it was pretty chill. I always love to eat Korean barbecue. It's kind of my favorite spot. It's between sushi and Korean barbecue. I love those places, but I'm very particular about my Korean barbecue because if it doesn't have cheese corn, like I am a cheese corn fanatic, and if they don't have cheese corn, then I'm like, what's the point of eating here? It's like cheese corn and rice cake. If they don't have cheese corn and rice cake, I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Take me out. Let's just eat at home. Like, I'm so serious, but I love, love, love Korean barbecue. And I went to this place that I want to say 10 years ago. Yeah, yeah, like 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, 10, 15 years is a good time. Um, they did not have all the sides that they have now. They did not have the cheese corn, they did not have the rice cakes. They just had like this rice paper, and then they had like these pink circular radishes. And then the green salad tossed in their spicy sauce. And I used to not like this Korean barbecue spot. They started making coming out with more Korean barbecue joints with under the same franchise all around Georgia. Holy cow. Yeah, they have like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine locations in Georgia. Hoo-wee. And I used to not be a fan of them at all. And then this year we found the one closest to where we live, and I just called them up and I asked them, "Do you guys have cheese corn?" And they're like, "Yeah, we have cheese corn." I was like, "Yeah." So I was super, super excited. Um, it was really nice to know that they had the food that I wanted. But this time around, I actually did not eat the cheese corn as much. I just ate all the meats, which is better because you go to Korean barbecue for the meats. You don't go to Korean barbecue for the sides like that. But I don't know. I it's something about the cheese corn, man. If it's not there, I don't want to be there. If it's not there, I'm not square. Ooh, so that was really nice. That was very cozy. Um, and then I measured myself today just to see what my measurements were. I try not to look at the scale too much because I'm way heavier on the scale. Like I don't look as heavy as I am, but I'm kind of I'm not even heavy for real. I don't know. I carry my weight differently. So I just took my measurements today because I wasn't as bloated just to see, you know, what my body measurements were. And I wanted to see what my hip to waist ratio was, like where we were sitting in that. And I'm not gonna lie, like I did not know my chest was as big as it was. And let me tell you something, I was pissed. So and excuse me if this is TMI. I'm not trying to like thirst trap anybody. I'm not trying to be like inappropriate or anything, but like I don't want a big chest. I want a huge ass. Okay? Like I don't want a big chest. I want a huge ass. I'm in love with like pear-shaped figures, like juicy thighs, plump backsides. 2019 Doja Cat. I always go back to that era of Doja because that was like her best era. That's when she started getting lipo in her stomach and shit. I was like, oh my god, her body is tea. You know, like I was in love with her. And she's South African. South Africans just naturally, carry weight that way. So I've always been in love with like the pear body shape. Like the you know what I mean? And I think I might be like hourglass, maybe. It depends. If I work out my upper body, I'm usually hourglass, which sucks because when I wear like street clothing, right? You know how the girls in the gym now they wear like big baggy like shirts and shorts, right? And sneakers, like the little Nike shorts and the sneakers and they lift weights, right? Um I I can't wear that look without looking like somebody's Facebook auntie. Like I really do look like a 45-year-old soccer mom in the gym doing the best she can. Like, I don't know. But I guess that's the curse of like kind of having like an hourglass type figure. I put in my measurements all the time and it usually says I'm a spoon. But when I work on my upper body, it leans more hourglass. And so I measured my chest and apparently I am a quadruple D. And I did not like that answer. I did not like that. I thought I was gonna be like a 36C or something, but a quadruple D or like a 32 or 36H. Let me do the measurements real quickly because I remember them. Let me do this real quick. So my bust size is 40 and my band size is 33. Yeah, and so calculator.net told me I'm like a 34G or a 34 quadruple D. And I said, absolutely not. I said, no, 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 no. This cannot be. Because I really don't want big boobs. I really don't. I've been around, and what's crazy is like my boobs aren't even that big. Like I've seen some massive tiggle bitties. Okay, I don't know what it is. I'm just around a lot of like I guess mid-sized girls, and they just have big boobs sometimes. But I was so pissed. And then I measured my waist to hip ratio, and I thought I was like a 0.64. I'm actually a 0.72. So, but I found out that if, I lose a little bit more weight, it can get lower. So that's always good. But yeah, I wasn't feeling that waist to hip ratio. Did you get anything for Valentine's Day? My partner got me a mini Amy Rose, like the Squishmallow. He got me a mini Amy Rose Jr. He got me a big Amy Rose, I think, for my birthday. like a big Amy Rose squishmallow, and then he got me a mini one with like a heart, like she's holding a heart or something, and it was really cute. And then I'm probably gonna draw my partner something for for Valentine's Day, but I'm still working on the picture. But yeah, happy Valentine's Day. Hope you had a good one. Um, and then went to Korean barbecue. But yeah, my when I work out my upper body a lot more, I notice that my chest tends to fill out a bit more and my back is more prominent, and I'm not like a fan of that for real, but because I want a huge butt. I want a juicy ass, but that's just not in the stars for me. And I'm like MILF age now, so I guess that's around the time where you start getting boobs. And at the same time, like, or not boobs, breastises, okay? And so I know there are girls out there and people out there who wish they had big old boobs or like big breastises. So I'm not too upset, but I'm also just like I wanted all of those extra inches to go to my ass, you know what I mean? Like I could knock off 3 inches from around my bust and put it in my butt and I would be great, but the society doesn't work that way for me. Um yeah, I don't know. I'm probably gonna get a skinny BBL one of these days. Probably gonna get a skinny BBL and I'm not gonna say anything. I know my other channel, the video that I highlighted, um, um, that's like on the preview the channel, right? I talk about how like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get some work done, but I think I'm gonna be one of those people who just like doesn't talk about it. Like people just ask questions. And then I don't know, maybe if people press me enough, I might be like, yeah, I got my body done. But I don't know. I just feel like when I was younger, I'm kind of glad I had the mentality I did when I was younger because I see some young ladies who get their bodies done, some people who get their bodies done. I want to be gender neutral about this because men be messing up their bodies too. Drake got that Adonis BBL and it looked awful. So, but I just feel like you get your body done at a very young age and you don't let yourself fall, like you don't let your body kind of fall into your second puberty. And when I say young age, like 18, 19, like remember when Kylie Jenner just like turned 18 and all of a sudden there was just like ass out of nowhere? Like I would not recommend you do that. I would definitely recommend that you wait until like you're in your mid 20s or after you had your first kid, if you're interested in having kids, to go under the knife or something like that. Because then as you get older, and if you don't, have the resources that like Kylie Jenner has, as you get older, your body does change and you do go through, I thoroughly believe at the very least women go through a second puberty. I definitely went through one. I definitely went through a second puberty and it was crazy. And your weight just sits differently, right? And so if you're like 18, 19, going under the knife, getting a BBL, right? Or even like getting all this like Botox and filler done to your face, and you're not even letting like your real features just kind of set into your body, like settle into your body, um, you could end up looking very uncanny valley at a very, very early age. You know what I mean? Or like you could end up looking like if you do care about like age and like how old you look, right? You could end up looking 35 at 25 years old or 45 at 25 years old. You know what I mean? Hi, hello. So when I was younger, I definitely did have the mentality of like, plastic surgery is bad. I'm against it. I'm not a fan of BBLs. I'm not a fan of this. I'm just going to get it naturally. When really the elephant in the room was I was broke. And I'm still broke. Like, let's just talk about it. The elephant in the room was I was broke. And the second elephant in the room is that I was a little bit male centered. And I think that mindset of being so aggressively anti-plastic surgery, I do think it's rooted in misogyny a little bit. The amount of procedures that these men, especially in Hollywood, especially in the entertainment industry, the amount of steroids a lot of these men go on, especially with these superhero movies that have came out. Yeah, these men be going on steroids. That one Indian actor did not look as swole as he did until he went on some sort of performance enhancement drugas and then was on the Eternals. And he looked good, but it's just like there's more of a lethal criticism towards women who change their bodies, especially if it looks awful. Especially if it looks awful, especially if it looks uncanny valley. I've said this before, but no one's clocking Kelly Rowland's nose job. I love Kelly Rowland down, but like it's a common known, not so much rumor that Kelly Rowland got a nose job. Okay, she's beautiful, beautiful woman. Probably beautiful woman before the nose job, beautiful woman after the nose job. Okay, no one was clocking that because that looked like a very natural, rhinoplasty. Okay, they probably went to a doctor who specializes in ethnic noses, right? But then Summer Walker gets her nose job done, and everyone's like, oh, well, what happened? Like, why can't these women love themselves? Why can't they just stay in their natural? And this is what's wrong with society. Want. This one woman who got plastic surgery on her face is the whole entire blame for what is wrong with society, not the society that keeps telling her that her being a dark-skinned woman in the music industry listening to an R&B singer, right? Having to fit a certain look and aesthetic is not the blame, but she is the blame for getting this nose job. How much you want to bet if that nose job looked good and she didn't say anything, no one would have said nothing about her? How much you want to bet people would have said how beautiful she looks after the nose job and been like, how to contour your nose like Summer Walker, the same way we do SZA with her phenomenal nose contour. And so I don't bring up Summer Walker or Kelly Rowland to like shame these women. They are in the entertainment industry. They have to get work done. There's a certain standard that they have to meet, being in the entertainment industry, being women of color, and looking a certain way. They have to kind of compete at that level, right? So I'm not blaming them for the procedures they've gotten done, but I definitely have always been on the side of, as I've gotten older, blaming society for blaming women specifically. We don't blame men that much. We blame women for feeling pressured to conform to society's unrealistic beauty standards instead of critiquing why society gives us unrealistic beauty standards to begin with. So with that in mind, as I've gotten older, I've kind of grown out of like, I'm anti BBL, I'm anti get work done. I'm always going to be anti any procedure if you're not doing it safely and you're not doing it by the right, like a reputable doctor, because you could put yourself in harm's way. You could get yourself unalived. But and there has been significant deaths with the BBL. But even with the BBL epidemic, like, remember when that trend came out? I was a little iffy and felt very uncomfortable the way people were talking about the BBL epidemic trend. Like, it just felt very individualized instead of critiquing why women feel like they have to do those things in order to be accepted. It didn't really critique society as much as it critiqued the individuals who wanted to get those procedures done. And it's always by people who are like super conventionally attractive, who don't really need to get those procedures done sometimes, who talk about these things, or maybe they're like a little bit younger, not to sound ageist, but you do look different when you're like age 21 versus when you're like age 31, like your body's a little bit more different. Your face is a little bit more different. Society idolizes youth. The younger you are, the better. I think up until recently, especially with artists like Charlie XCX and SZA being in like their mid 30s. Have we really been okay with women being like older in age? And then we had Janet Jackson in like the 99 in the 2000s, right? The 90s, 80s, 2000s, right? And Beyonce too. Um, but it just always kind of felt like we were blaming these women for getting these procedures done, not knowing what these women have gone through to feel like they need to get these procedures or want to get these procedures done so badly. Like, some of these women could be moms. Y'all up here, size 2, size 0, critiquing these women, natural built hourglass, body has never been botched by a child. Haven't given birth once. And how much you want to bet if they did give birth and they did have stretch marks and saggy skins, they would be looking up a doctor to go and get a tummy tuck themselves. like I don't know, it's just, and I know they mean well. I know some people mean well. I know they are coming from this as a, don't conform to an unrealistic beauty standard, especially if it's going to like cause you to get physically hurt or pass away. But it also, like, not a lot of people during the BBL epidemic trend were really critiquing the underlying reason why women are getting these procedures done. No one was really critiquing why men and young boys had body image issues. I think there was a news special. I think it was Entertainment News or something. Don't quote me on this, but I remember there was a whole news special, or like Vice, that did a mini docuseries on how young boys are incredibly insecure over their body image because they see other like boys their age roided out, or they see these actors who are taking performance enhancement drugas for these superhero films and these action films, and they're over here thinking that, like, if they do 50,000 push-ups they might get the same body type as, Thor, Chris Hemsworth in a Thor movie. Like, that's not gonna happen. So yeah, I have, like, the older I get and like the more my body like changes and develops, my mind has changed about like surgery. But like, honestly, when I even was in my early, like mid to late 20s, I was very much so like, it's your body, do what you want. But I don't know, I also think that trends happen for a reason. Commentary gets pushed for a reason. And call me like a weird conspiracy woo-woo girl, but it wasn't surprising that after people started dunking on BBLs, the Kardashians got rid of their BBLs and deflated their diaper ass booties, right? And then Ozempic became popular. Like, I don't think that was a coincidence. I think that was intentional. Or even like a completely random other like hot take that everyone was talking about for a minute in the online space was the Sephora girl debacle. How kids and iPad kids, Sephora girls and iPad kids. I was really pissed off about that with y'all. I was, especially like the Gen Zers who are like in their early 20s, like 21, 19, 18. Like, you just got here in adult years and you mean to dunk on a kid that's like 5, 7 years younger than you? Like, what are we doing? Like, you are way too young to be worried about what someone's 10-year-old child is doing. Way too young. That really pissed me off too, because it seemed like they were blaming millennials, as they always do, saying that millennial parents don't know how to raise their kids, when 9 times out of 10 Gen Z are older Gen Z is old enough to have kids, and Gen X is probably having these Gen Alpha kids too. Okay, millennials, I believe, are the children of boomers and maybe like older Gen X. But Gen X is most definitely the parents of Gen Z and Gen Alpha. And Gen Z and millennials, millennials could be raising Gen Alpha. I could see that. But Gen Z be raising Gen Alpha too. Gen X be raising Gen Alpha too. Like, that's not too far removed, right? And it's just like, okay, so we're blaming millennials for no reason. We're catching another stray, this time from Gen Z. Odd. Drunken Elephant is having a moment. They're very, very popular. No one's into makeup like that anymore. The makeup, the heavy makeup, bridal makeup on a Tuesday for the gram with brows on fleek and Kylie's matte lip kit slathered all over your lips. Like, we're not doing that anymore. Skincare is all the rage. Now we're clocking these young girls not for wearing heavy makeup, but for wearing skincare products that might be too harsh for their skin. And while the intention is genuine, I think that the intention behind telling children, hey, you don't have to grow up too fast. I think what people need to understand, because skincare is definitely linked to the clean girl aesthetic, right? Clean girl is more age appropriate for young girls than the heavy bridal shower makeup that we were doing in the 2010s. Like, do you know what I mean? Like light lip gloss, light blush, maybe a little shimmer on the eyelashes, mascara, and then just making sure your skin is good. Maybe you don't have to get a Drunken Elephant when you're like 12, but learning how to clean your skin with like Clarisil or something. And maybe putting on a little moisturizer that's for teens. Like, that's very on brand for 12-year-old girls. That's very age appropriate, right? Personally, I think all makeup should be age appropriate, but that's another conversation. I'm not going to get into that today, but that's very age appropriate. Okay. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, so I feel like this is a smear campaign against Drunk Elephant. And then when I did go into a Sephora and I asked somebody like, hey, do you get a lot of kids in here that's like wreaking havoc? Like, what's going on with that? And the person I asked was like, not really. And that's one Sephora store in a random mall in Georgia. So like, that's not all Sephora stores, right? But I think it just gives an example about, or proves my example of, a lot of these trends that happen, I feel like they're rooted in trying to push a certain ideation or culture. People started talking about the BBL epidemic, and then all of a sudden, Kardashians lose their butt, Ozempic is in. People start talking about Sephora girls and iPad kids, and all of a sudden, millennials for some reason are to blame by Gen Z. Then there's another trend that comes up. Then there's another trend that comes up, and everybody hops on it. Like, and it almost feels like everybody has nobody has an original thought. And it makes me think like, okay, you 18-year-old content creator talking about these 12-year-old kids. Do you really give a flying fuck what these kids are doing? At your ripe old age of 18, do you really care? At your ripe old age of 21? And I don't know. What also pisses me off, I really hate this, when folks talk about this generation that, this generation this generation that, when they say this generation, I was born in the wrong generation. No, bro. Your generation. It's your generation. Not this generation. You're a part of it, and you're influencing it by getting on your 16:9 screen and ranting to the ether about the problem with this generation. You're a part of the problem. I hate that. Oh my God. Like, ooh, and then another one, baddie culture, which is different from the show Baddies. I actually don't like the show Baddies. I don't watch that show. But baddie culture, and how we have extrapolated baddie culture into something that's like BBLs, getting flown out, Birkin bags, colorful 13x7 lace fronts. Like, that's what we've gotten from baddie culture. Not that there are different genre of baddies, that there are different versions of baddies that can be, you know, bad bitches in their own right, but like the classic IG, Brittany Renner, India Love Westbrook, Jada Wada, Ari Fletcher baddies is destroying the youth. And I'm over here thinking, why do they just get to be baddies? I know regular baddies that just do bomb ass makeup looks, wear bomb ass outfits. Maybe they're not the traditional IG model. Maybe they're more of an alt girl, or maybe they're more of, you know, an art hoe or an earthy black girl. Or maybe they're just like a chic black girl, like a Lori Harvey type. Like, they are all technically baddies, but you, like, we have taken baddie culture and associated with negative connotations of black female expression. I'm not talking about getting flown out. No, like, getting flown out isn't black female expression, but like the color, the Fashion Nova based outfits. I've always said that Fashion Nova was Rainbow with a bigger budget. If you know that store, Rainbow, or City Trends with a bigger budget, with a marketing team and celebrities that can sponsor their clothes. The BBLs, I mean, black women naturally have those curvier bodies, and now people can go under the knife to get that curvy look, right? Even the Botox and the fillers, the big huge juicy lips, the lip fillers, Kylie Jenner, like, she popularized that, even though we've been the blueprint for that. The 13x7 lace fronts. Black women are so creative with their hairdos. They're so creative with their hairdos. Well, hold on, wait. Drag culture might have started that, but still, in black drag spaces, I'm willing to believe that they co-opted the lace front, and then, you know, a black woman might have gotten a hold of it and like made it new. And we do it, and now it's ratchet and it's ghetto. You know, and now it's a whole subculture based off of demeaning black women and their expression. Now baddie culture is destroying the youth, but we can't even really define what it means to be a baddie outside of a traditional IG model. There's so many different types of baddies that don't look like IG models. There are IG models that don't look like what you would assume an IG model to look like. And my theory has always been, as soon as we had, because it was cool when the Kim Kardashians and the white girls were doing it. It was cool. It was like, oh my God, they're so awesome. They're so dope. Look at them being able to capitalize off of, you know, this aesthetic and make a bunch of money just from influencing. And then everybody followed along, only to realize half of their aesthetic has been stolen and built off the backs of black women, right? But then as soon as black women started playing that same game, as soon as you saw like the Ari Fletchers and the Jada Wadas do the same things and like thrive in those, in that space, thrive in getting the BBLs, thrive in getting like I don't know why they feel like they need to get lip fillers, but like I said, it's your body, your choice. I just said I wanted to get a skinny BBL, so it's fine. But because I just think they were naturally pretty before, but I get it, like, you know, it's a look that you're trying to go for. But as soon as like the Jada Wadas and the Ari Fletchers started playing the same game that the Kardashians did, oh, now it's a problem. Oh, now baddie culture is destroying the youth. Oh, now it wasn't a problem back then in 2016, but in 2026, now we have to make whole ass dissertations. Like, I don't know. That's a little weird to me. But anyway, I'm going to read some Reddit stories. I'm only going to be here for maybe like an hour or so. And then I'm going to head out. But yeah, the whole point of that intro monologue was, I don't know, do what you want and stop blaming women for everything. Stop blaming women for trying to accomplish beauty standards that society tells them they can't accomplish, or they won't be able to obtain. Like start clocking society, please. My dumbass in the late 2010s really thought we were gonna go from like body positivity, because it was like thin was in when I was a kid in the 2000s, and then body positive, like big old butts, into the 2010s, later into body positivity, fat positivity. So my dumbass thought, okay, so now we're gonna go to body neutrality. Like, I really thought that's the next step. That's where we evolve. We grow more and we go to body neutrality. Girl, no. Y'all went back to being skinny, wanting to be unrealistically skinny, starving yourself. Anyway, my dumbass thinking that, you know, we would evolve as humanity, but as humans, but no. We just went back 10 years. Anyway, let's read some Am I Overreactings, and then I'm going to move to Am I the Assholes? I actually want to see more work career Am I Overreactings. I'm going to keep reading more work career Am I Overreactings, because I can't do the relationship stuff. It just like gives me the ick. Because the way a lot of these, I'm going to just say it, a lot of these women feel like they are in the way for their boyfriends being complete assholes, and feel like they are overreacting for calling out the asshole behavior of their boyfriends. Like, I just I like, girl, you know you're not overreacting. Like, I get mad for them. I'm not mad at them. I'm just like, how did anyway, am I overreacting? My boss sent this to the work chat and it pissed me off. My boss, male, late 20s, sent this to a shared work chat. He is the only man on our team, but that never stopped him from making all sorts of sexist comments. When my colleagues and I talked about our health, obviously not with him, he rolled his eyes at the words and said, "You women always have problems." There have also been repeated comments about how emotional women are, how mercantile they are. Ooh, did I say that word right? Hold on. I'm going to look up that word real quick. And how unpleasantly they change during marriage. I'm looking up what the word mercantile means. Hold on. Mercantile. Relating to trade or commercial, a general store. Okay. Mercantile. Okay, cool. I hate men like this. At some, like, I wish this, I didn't want to start off with a gender, am I overreacting? But here we are. But like, there are grown ass men who think this way. Like, we ignored it because in my country, the EC does not decide anything, and we have no one to turn to with this issue. If he had phrased it differently or said it personally to the girls whose tampons they were, it wouldn't have caused such a storm of emotions. But the way he did it made me get into a fight with him. When asked why unused tampons in the toilet could be unhygienic, he never answered. So am I overreacting? Oh, okay, so these are tampons. I figured. So I will say it's unhygienic to just keep it on the floor like that. At the very least, like, put him like up. Like, I know if there's a toiletry trash can, which usually in the ladies' room there is, you know, you can put them on top of the toiletry trash can, or you can put them on a shelf. But just having them on the ground like that, like, that's a little. And then not easily, like, you can't easily like get one. Okay, because like, I'm thinking about like the logistics, right? All right, hear me out. I'm thinking about the logistics. Like, you're on your period and you're cleaning yourself up and you have to squat down to get a tampon. You got all the stuff on your hands. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's where the unhygienic part comes in, not the fact that there are tampons. I just feel like there should be a place where the tampon should sit, so said person can go get them, and then not, you know, contaminate their hands on the ground, or contaminate the other tampons. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Colleagues, I understand that there are different cases in life, but let's not leave personal hygiene items in the work toilet. This isn't the work toilet. This is on the work ground. At the very least, it's not hygienic, not to mention that the toilet can be used by our customers too. Thank you for understanding. I see that when the question is not related to work, all your employees start actively browsing the chat. What is with these small? I guess they screenshotted all the messages together, browsing the chat. I hope it will be okay. It will be like this in the future too. I explain again, there are no claims to presence use of personal belongings. We are talking only about the place of storage. For example, if someone has problems with foot odor and uses medication and a change of stocks, no. Don't compare foot odor to like a woman having her period. Then storing them in a shared bathroom will probably look a bit inappropriate to other people. For example, if someone has problems with foot, okay. I didn't think that a simple remark would require detailed consideration. I don't think it's worth blowing up the topic. If there are objections, I'm ready to discuss it personally with everyone. So, okay, I see both sides. All right. So I see on one end, I would definitely as a manager be like, hey, I know we're all ladies here. We all have coochies, but I think we should place this a little bit higher. Like, just personally, I think we should place this like on a trash can, on a shelf, because like just a random box on the ground, on the bathroom ground where different people walk on, that's a little unhygienic. So I do see that, right? But I don't like the fact that Boss is comparing tampons to foot odor. First of all, foot odor is embarrassing. Nobody wants foot odor. If your piglets stink, people are gonna side eye you, right? But periods are normal. They're absolutely normal, and they should not be seen as disgusting or gross. I wish he would have handled this with a bit more nuance, but knowing the background of him being like very hostile towards women coworkers, I'm not surprised that he responded in this way. I just feel like he should have been like, hey guys, I understand that y'all have your monthlies, but can we put the box somewhere higher where you guys can access it so it's not on the ground so you guys won't get contaminated by the floor? I wish he would have framed it in that way, not to directly blame them for having periods, but just to be like, hey, let's just be more hygienic. Okay. So let's see what they are saying. Just an FYI to respond to the reports. This looks like this looks to be getting reported because it appears to be AI manipulated content. It seems to be that the person overlaid a non-English text with the translation. If tampons are unhygienic, okay, that's cool. If tampons are unhygienic, then so is unused toilet paper. What a numpty. What a numpty, not overreacting. What's a numpty? If there's a urinal, I'd block it off with hazardous material tape. He's an idiot. Having tampons in the bathroom is common practice, especially if the entire team is female. Even some customers might be female, and since it's a girl code that period supplies are for whoever needs them, someone who is in need of one could easily have one and leave much happier because of it. Yeah, there are some bathrooms. I remember when I was younger, I would see some bathrooms, public bathrooms, that would have like tampons and pad dispensaries that you would twist and you can get one just in case it was like an emergency. But yeah, I wish you would have phrased it differently. I wish you would have been like, because this box on the ground is gross. Okay. I wish you would have been like, okay, so I know we have periods and that's fine, but can we move the box higher up for you guys to access so you're not having to reach down on the ground? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how I feel about that. But I could see how this could be unhygienic, but not from like a sexist standpoint of like, let's compare periods to foot odor. Or like, ew, these women are bleeding and they just have their tampon box on the ground. Like, no. Or like even say something like, hey, I notice this is a common need amongst the team. Is there a way we can showcase the tampons or showcase the sanitary products, the menstrual products in a way that is accessible to you guys so that they are stored in a more hygienic place, so that, there isn't any cross contamination of the sorts. I don't want anybody to be reaching down on the ground to pull out their menstrual products and, get their hands dirty. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like there was a better way to go about it, but that was kind of rude. All right. Okay, let's look at more work. Am I overreacting? Because I can do this. I could do. Yo, it's the cheese. Remember the cheese one I read last week? They have it as a banner. How are you spending $18,000 on cheese? So for those of you guys who weren't at the last Reddit Story Sundays, I read Am I Overreacting? Oh my God, and they even have the cheese. The cheese profile pic. I read a Reddit story where a man and his girlfriend had $32,000 stored away to go and buy a house. They live in Canada. The housing market sucks there. I'm not surprised. The housing market sucks here too. Okay. And he took $18,000 of that cheddar, of that money, and spent it on a cheddar cheese wheel that he was going to sell for like, I guess, $16 to $20 a pop. 60. In his mind, he thought selling like a gram or half a gram of it would go for like $64. And that way he can turn his investment of buying this block of like 20-year-old aged cheddar cheese into profit. And needless to say, his girlfriend left him. She was like, no, absolutely not. Like, what are you doing? We're supposed to buy a house. I don't blame her. I would have done the same thing. I told my boyfriend this, and he's like, that man's an idiot. I was like, at the very least, if you're going to make an investment like that, maybe use the $32,000 for a down payment on a, what is it called? Commercial real estate. So like buy like a grocery store franchise where you could have a bunch of cheese wheels just sitting around, you know what I mean? And selling those. Like that makes more sense than like whatever the hell this was. But anyway, am I overreacting? Personal grievance against coworker. Hello, Reddit. Needing to know if I'm overreacting or if my reaction is valid. I have a coworker who's held a grudge towards me for over 2 years. I didn't share a private personal medical situation with her. I never felt we were friends or particularly close. I treated her and still try to like the other coworkers. How's the family? Did you have a good weekend? Etc. I apologize to her for upsetting her back over 2 years ago when all this started. Management is aware of coworkers' grudge and thinks it's childish. However, the last 2 years I've been subject to what I feel is hostile and unfair behavior from her. The straw that broke the camel's back is this. I greeted her with a simple morning coworker's name, and her response was to wave her hand and state, I don't want to talk to you. Don't say good morning to me. I didn't catch the rest of her words in the sentence. The way she spoke and behaved towards me made me cry. She then berated me over a work problem that was incredibly minor and easy to fix. Didn't impact the business or anything, just needed to shift a few boxes on a shelf. The berating went on for 10 minutes. Her behavior to me over the last 2 years has made me uncomfortable to ask for her guidance in the job, resulting in the boxes not being placed correctly. I've been treated in treatment for mental health problems for over 2 years and take medication, etc. So I don't know if it's my depression or anxiety or if the coworker is actually bullying. She's also called a coworker who's underage a little effing prick. I don't know if I should let these incidents slide or file the personal grievance. I don't want her to get in trouble, but it'd be nice to go to work without worrying about any snide comments that I don't know are aimed at me or not. I don't know if my anxiety is just making me over emotional and reactive to her behavior. Leaving my job is not possible, and I'm not in the USA. TLDR, co-workers holding a grudge for 2 years, and I don't know if I should do a personal complaint or not. Well, what grudge? What was the grudge? Like, not okay. So first of all, let's wrap this up real quick. Their coworker's an asshole, hands down, absolute asshole, absolute dick. usually working with people, the hardest part isn't the job. Usually the hardest part is the different personalities that you get. I can't stand people who are like like complete assholes, snide, berate people at work. I really can't stand those people. Like, if you fucking hate your job, then quit. Like, that's where I'm at, right? Like, everybody's in here, everybody's struggling, but I like, what's the grudge? If the grudge is I didn't pick up a shift one time, that's petty, and you need to let that go. But if the grudge is like, I talked to upper management about you, about something that I noticed that might not have been for best for the business, yeah, I can see how someone might get a little shady towards you, because you are kind of like going um against your fellow employees. But then again, when you work like in any work setting, right, where you're not working for yourself, you kind of do, like, I don't know, corporate kind of does that to you. Corporate or like retail service working kind of does that to you, right? And it's something extreme, like, I had an affair with her husband, then like that's a little extreme, but it's like, okay, I can understand why she would have a grudge towards you. At the very least, I think she should complain, or they should complain to upper management about the situation. And also, this is what I don't like. Like, I have a vendetta against people who shit on underage folks working. Realistically, I don't think underage people should work. Maybe for like a little summer job here and there, but like, that's just weirdo behavior, girl. Like, kind of just guide them. Like, they're doing their best. Not overreacting. I suggest you keep, yeah, okay. I suggest you keep a detailed account of this person's negative behavior when it affects your job, and practice ignoring her entirely when it comes to good mornings. You don't need to give her any energy at all. Girl, yeah, report it to HR. Not overreacting. She is being extremely aggressive and hostile. Make a record every time she's done it and find witnesses. See if you can move to a new area if they don't fire her. That's smart. And okay, so here's the thing about HR. I don't know how it works in like retail, because I haven't worked retail in a while, or like service working or any of that. I don't know how it works for retail, but like, when it comes to corporate, HR is not your friend. You can record and document, and if you file those complaints to HR, they are going to see it as you being the problem and the manager not. And then also, it depends on who brings more value. I hate that. Oh, God. Like I said, corporate America just sucks you dry. It just sucks you dry. It sucks the life out of you. Because what do you mean my purpose at this company is to provide value? My purpose here is to provide value to this company that can lay me off in like 6 months to a year. What? Like, yeah, weird. So I would say be careful about that, because HR is not on your friends, but for service working, it can be different. And the safer option is to just move locations, because I wouldn't be able to deal with someone calling me out my name. Not at my big age. I would have been like, is there a problem? If you have an issue, like, we can talk about it. What's going on? Because I don't need you talking to me any kind of way. I don't need you calling me out my name. I don't need you berating me for some boxes. You can use your words. You're a grown adult like I am. Okay? Like, relax. Not overreacting. She's not just targeting you. She's targeting at least one other coworker, an underage one at that, which is loser behavior. Yeah, that is very loser behavior. At the very least, gas up the underage coworkers. You don't know what they're going through. Like, it's perfectly fine to hate your coworkers, in my opinion. I've had many over the years I couldn't stand for one reason or another, and it's a big but. That doesn't mean you abandon professionalism and basic human decency. You have to treat everyone with the bare minimum respect at the very least. That means minding your P's and Q's and not cursing at them or yelling. She is being unprofessional. At best, and at worst, she's being a legitimate bully. My advice would be to make an ally out of the other coworker and suggest you both go to HR and make a report on her. That could work, but it also, like, be be careful. I don't know how service work uh is. I know this is a coworker, not a manager, so it could be a little bit different. But if they provide more value to the store, you know, HR might be like, all right, bet. So we're gonna fire you both and keep her. But also, this is like, I don't know if they live in the USA, but they said they're not in the USA. So I don't know how it works across the pond. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't. Capitalism sucks as dry. All right, let's find another one. Am I overreacting? Someone at work stole my heart medication. What are we doing? No, I don't even want to read this. No. Let me read it anyway. Like, what do you mean? Am I overreacting? Someone stole my heart medication. Do you just want to vent? That's fine, because you know damn well you're not overreacting. All right, today I, 23 female, came into work, fast food at 4:45 p.m., put my jacket and keys in my locker, and noticed my pill case was missing. I have a heart condition, and I take propranolol. Okay, propranolol. Okay, I keep a small emergency supply just in case. I immediately tell my general manager, and she sends a text in the shift lead and group chat. It was there Thursday night when I closed. I didn't work Friday, and it was missing when I arrived. For a bit of context, we have about 12 lockers. Most everyone has a locker mate except me because of the medicine. This does not stop people from putting shit in my locker, though. It hasn't been a problem up until now. I usually don't mind much. We are not allowed to put locks on our lockers, and there are no cameras back there. I don't know what genius thought that was a good idea. All evening, I've been thinking about why someone would steal my heart medication, but my closest coworker friend said my medication looks like Adderall, and that might be why someone stole it. Now, there aren't really many bad apples at my job for being fast food. They have some pretty high standards, but there are a couple people, one guy in particular, who I can see taking it. We also do not hire any minors. If someone who doesn't need it takes my medication, they will suffer from low blood pressure and low heart rate, and possibly even go into cardiac arrest. My medication also isn't fully covered by insurance, so it costs me a bit of money every month. This is where I might be overreacting. I want to get the district manager, corporate, or possibly law enforcement, but I like to avoid that involved. I honestly care more about making sure whoever stole it doesn't try to sell it or take it themselves, as I don't want someone hospitalized or dead because of my medicine. But part of me also thinks whoever took it should face consequences. Am I overreacting? Girl, no. Because, like, what if they do sell it and your name is on it, and now you're tied to somebody's injury, critical injury, or death? Like, no, I don't think you're overreacting. And then, like, what if something happens to you? Like, no. I would talk to the general manager about this. See what you can do with them. Maybe talk to the district and corporate. If you're that petty, you could go to law enforcement, and I'm pretty sure you could get like some, I don't know, personal injury attorney, something, and you can get like a nice hefty check from that. Yeah, I think so, but that's up to you. But anyway, I would revisit with HR why you cannot lock your belongings up. Consider keeping the medication either in your car or a place you can see. My job, hair salon, offers lockable lockers, but drawers are not safe and are not unsafe to store personal goods and equipment, and is stated so. You need to check the workplace manual and see if this is stated. As a manager, I get really frustrated by this issue again and again because it's a matter of being proactive, not especially me constantly policing people. I am a manager, not hired for security. I would put a sign up in the back informing what the medication was, and you'd like it back. Another thing is, I don't know if I'd put medication in my locker. Not to blame OP, because no one should be stealing, right? But I also don't think we should be putting our medication or like really important personal goods in our locker. I think we should keep it in our pockets. or we should keep it in the car, but not in our lockers. That's just my opinion, but yeah. All right, let's read one more. Am I overreacting? Boss edition or work edition, and then we'll move on to the next set of Reddit posts. Am I overreacting? Person I work with messages me to ask me about where I left the speaker to play music on my day off. Pretty trivial situation, to be honest. Where is the speaker? That's all you care about? You never messaged me to ask how am I? Whoa, how are you doing? Is everything all right? Yeah. What? Yes, you are overreacting. Just tell them where the speaker is. Nobody cares about how you're doing on your day off. I'm so sorry. Sorry, but your reply is so weird. Go to therapy, please. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you absolutely are overreacting. Why do you think this man cares about you in that way? Cares about how you're doing on your day off? Why do you think this man cares about how you're doing on your day off? Why? Why? That's just weird to me. Oh my god. Yeah, okay. Anyway, moving on. Let's read some Am I the Assholes. Oh my god. Am I the asshole for refusing to give my mom my savings after she found out how much I had? I don't like how they say not the asshole at the top. I don't like that. I want to be able to figure out authentically whether or not they're the asshole. All right. I'm 19 female, currently in college, still living at home. I have been working part-time since I was 16, and I am really strict about saving. I don't go out much. I don't buy expensive stuff, and I've managed to save a decent amount, around 4K. Last week, my mom asked me to log into my banking app to transfer some money for groceries because her card wasn't working. While I was doing that, she saw my total savings. She went quiet and later that night told me that since I was living under her roof, I should contribute more and that it's selfish of me to hoard money while she's struggling. She asked me to give her 2K to help the family and said I could always earn it back. The thing is, she's not unemployed or anything. She works full time. We're not rich, but we're not in a crisis either. I already pay for my own school stuff, my phone bill, and sometimes groceries. At 19 and living at home, I was saving that money in case I move out for emergencies. When I said I wasn't comfortable giving that much, she called me ungrateful and said I'm acting like a tenant instead of a daughter. Now my relatives are saying I should help because family helps family. Okay. But I feel like she only wants it because she saw how much I had. Am I the asshole for refusing to give her half my savings? No. I wanted to come to that conclusion on my own though, but like no, absolutely not. Okay. Rant time. All right. Life is really hard right now for Gen Zers, millennials. Life is just hard. I'm going to take a shot into the dark and say that her mom is either Gen X or millennial, one of the two. No, Gen X or a boomer, one of the two, right? Probably Gen X. I think that was like the last generation where they could turn a blind eye to how bad things have really gotten and how hard it is for people. It is not uncommon to see a lot of 19, 20-year-olds not even have the luxury of being able to go to college, live in a dorm, and have a college experience. It's more cost effective for them to commute to school, stay at home, and then probably have to work a part-time job, rack up hundreds and thousands and thousands of student loans just to graduate, and afford college, and struggle to make ends meet and make things work. There are stories about college students going homeless, having to live in their car because they don't have a place to stay. There are stories of college students having to drop out. There are fully grown adults who feel like they're so behind in life because they can't afford to go to college, and the work that they do have doesn't pay them enough for them to live on their own. So honestly, mom should have enough consideration to understand that she has to set up daughter for success before she decides to move out. You know what I mean? Like, she has to set up daughter for success. And if that means staying in her house rent free, and even if she were to give her rent to teach her about like finances, because I had that once when I was like a teenager. I still heavily disagree about that. I do. Unless you're like making them give you like $200-300 so you can store it away and save it, so that when they're finally, you know, more independent and have their footing on the ground, you know, they have enough money to maybe put down a payment for a house or a payment for you know, apartment or something. I like that. But if you're just collecting that money and spending it on other things, I don't like that. But mom should be way more considerate and pat 19-year-old OP on the back for saving money and doing the best that she can to, you know, make herself self-sufficient and independent. Mom should have her shit together to not feel like she has to have her hand out to ask her 19-year-old daughter for assistance. And mom should not be putting 19-year-old daughter in the position where she has to pay for her own school stuff, her phone bill, and the groceries. That should not be happening if she's living under the roof of mom's house, of her mother's house. That shit should only happen if she is living on her own. Okay, like, I don't want to sound like an antinatalist because I'm not, but people need to be way more considerable. They need to have way more consideration about whether or not they want to have kids, because it doesn't just stop when they turn 18. You can't just kick them out the house, boot to the ass out the house. You're on your own, pal. No. Your kid will end up resenting you. No. You really got to be there for your child through and through. It just doesn't end when you're 18. And you can't like expect, especially if you didn't give them the skills to learn this on their own, you can't just expect them to automatically turn around and help the family out, especially when they're trying to get their own self off the ground. Another thing to think about, 19-year-old OP has only been an adult for 1 to 2 years of their life. Mom has been an adult a significantly longer time. And that's more than enough time for her to figure out and put her daughter in a situation and set up her daughter for success, where she doesn't feel like she has to give money to help the family, because mom can help the family herself, because mom decided to have these kids in the family. Like, let's have a conversation. And not make it so 19-year-old OP has to buy their school stuff, pay their phone bill, and buy groceries. Like, that's not okay. I don't like it when parents just expect their kids to take care of them. Even though as a kid, you probably should take care of your parents. Like, I want to make it to a point where, you know, I can retire my parents when I want to, when they want to retire, like they don't have to keep working. Right. But I personally feel like that should not be an expectation for a parent, because they do have their own life to live. You do hold them back. There is a form of arrested development or opportunities missed, while you had the advantage of having all those opportunities yourself. Or maybe you didn't, and that's not fair to you. But I don't like that some parents expect their kid to just naturally take care of them. I don't like that. And when I say take care of them, not like, you know, help out around the house, cook, clean, you know what I mean? But like, just like, oh, well, you have to give half of your savings because you're a part of this family and you need to help out. No, you should be setting up your kid for success. The only way I could see myself doing that is if I was putting that money aside so that they could go and buy their own like place when they are ready to move out and they have a job and they can get their foot. That's the only time I would see that as acceptable, because you're giving back to your kid and then you're teaching them the value of like saving, right? But if it's to pay for other stuff around the house that you should be handling yourself, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Do not give her a dime. This is a big lesson you need to learn with family and growing up. You give them money once, they will keep coming back forever. That's your money for college. Do not any of it to your mother. Do not give any of it to your mother. Unfair though it might be, that advice might be a quick trip to homelessness. That is very unfortunate. And that's why, again, I say, not on some anti-natalist type shit, but like this is why people need to be very careful about like what it means to have a kid and raise a child into an adult. When they turn 18, they still might have to live there. And if they live there, it would behoove of you to make it their living experience there while they go to college, while they upskill themselves, while they educate themselves, as easy and seamless as possible for them. It would behoove of you, in my opinion, to set them up for success, because things are already as hard as it is, especially for Gen Z, probably Gen Alpha. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. So yes, but if she keeps giving money, if she gives the money to mom, ends up broke, she might end up homeless without her savings. Oh, yeah, that is true. Who said, oh, what? Okay, I don't know what's going on over there. Not the asshole. It's so weird to see comments saying you should be paying rent and stuff. No, it's like, no. A 19-year-old living with their parents, no, they should not be paying rent. They should be using that money to save so that they can buy their own place to pay rent for. Like, why would you start them at a disadvantage? You're in school. Parents are supposed to lead their children to a good future. Exactly. My parents were not rich at all, but always told us that we could live at home for free while we were in school. That's how it should be. But it seems people think that a parent's job stops at a random age instead of a growth. That's exactly what I said. Where I live, parents have to contribute as long as the child actually studies, not just party and fail. It's even calculated in loans and grants from the province. Yeah, I don't like that. No, I don't like the idea that once your kid gets to reach a certain age, she has to help pay for the rent and whatever, unless, they're bad with money and you want to set them up for success so that they can buy their own home or something. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I don't think they're the asshole, and I think their mom is really shitty for doing that to them. All right. Would I be the asshole for suing my friend when she didn't come to my wedding? Ooh, wedding drama. Bro, okay. I didn't know weddings were like so serious. Like, friendships will break up over weddings. That is so weird to me. That's like a new hot topic in like the YouTube and social media space. People coming on social media to talk about how they've been cut out of the friend group because they can't afford to go to the wedding. What? Or they can't afford to be bridesmaids, or they can't afford to be maid of honor. What? In this economy? And if I could just rant again, I just find it so weird that the pinnacle of a marriage, like when it gets good, it's assumed to be on the wedding day. And the wedding day technically is to celebrate the woman getting married to the man, if we're talking about like straight relationships, right? Something tells me in my mind, in my soul, something just tells me that I don't know. I feel like queer relationships don't really have this problem. Like, they don't really do too much. But like, already I'm reading the first sentence and it says, I married my husband in Bali, Indonesia in January. Like, in this economy, no one can afford to go to Bali, Indonesia. Let's look up Bali, Indonesia plane tickets from Atlanta. Cheap? No. That's still too much money. I would love to go to Bali though. I hear it's expensive getting over there, but it's like super cheap. You can live like a queen over there. So I'd love to go to Bali one of these days. But like, no, girl, no. You want to get married in Bali, Indonesia, it better be a nice intimate wedding between you, your husband, and your loved ones. That's too much money. And what's crazy about like marriage is that like over like 50% of marriages don't last that long nowadays. So you're gonna spend all this money, all this plane ticket, all of this money to for the wedding decorations and the catering and the DJ and all that. You're gonna spend all of this money for this one day to represent not even 7 years of a marriage, maybe even shorter. A marriage that you don't even know is gonna last that long. Really? Nah. I like nice, intimate, like the type of wedding I would want if I wanted to get married would be like really small, like just my family, partner's family, you know, maybe like a friend, like one friend. I don't need a bridesmaid. It would be a very intimate wedding, and then the food would be off the chain. It wouldn't be an elaborate 100 people, 500 people. Like, no. Like, absolutely not. When the divorce rates are this high, hell no. No. It'd be nice and small. Even the micro weddings can easily run you up 10K. One of my favorite YouTubers, she did a wedding vlog, and that she, on her podcast, I think she said that it was like 10K for the wedding. And it was like a really intimate, really small, intimate wedding. I'm like, 10K for a micro wedding? Oh, no. Like, really, I could take, like, and it's like the amount of money people spend on weddings you could put on a down payment for a home, like, which will have 10 times more value. You could go on a juicy ass honeymoon. That's something I would love to do. And then take that rest of the money, the 20, 30, 40,000 that you spent on a day on a home. You could take some bougie ass wedding pictures. That's what I would do. Make it like cosplay like we had this elaborate ass wedding, bitch. Like, no, this is too much money. Too much money for one day. I say this, and then like, I think it would be kind of cool personally for me if I could bartend at weddings. I don't know why, but I think that would be cool for me. Like, it'd be a nice, cool little side hustle, like a little quirky side hustle of mine. But yeah, I could never see myself. First of all, I don't want to get married. But I could never ever really see myself like demanding everybody go to Indonesia. Like, unless I'm paying for it. Like, I'm gonna get married in Indonesia. I'm paying for everybody's lodging and tickets. Are you cool? All right, so let's read the story, because maybe that's what this is. Maybe she paid for them and they still weren't able to go. I don't know. Anyway, I recently got married to my husband in Bali, Indonesia in January. It was a destination wedding, but my parents and his parents paid for their own plane ticket and hotel. But we paid for our friends' plane tickets and hotel stays. Okay. All right. Each plane ticket was about $2,000 USD. And the hotel was maybe about $150 to $300 a week. My friend Gemma brought along her newlywed husband John along, but paid for his plane ticket. The problem is that Gemma and John did not show up to my wedding. Gemma took a free plane ticket to Bali, and the hotel were okay. All right, so I'm okay. I understand. And the hotel room. And when I asked why she didn't show up, she said she couldn't afford their own honeymoon, and this was a perfect opportunity, and that Jim decided that he didn't feel like going. No. If Jim's not going, I'm gonna go, bitch. Like, you can stay back, because like, we can still do our honeymoon and go to this wedding. I was really hurt by this, since Gemma and I have been friends for over 10 years. It always be those friends. It always be the friends for over 10 years. It really do. Jeez, what's going on with that? Would I be the asshole if I took her to small claims court for the money I spent on the plane ticket and hotel? Update. I messaged Gemma per multiple comments advising me to invoice her for the plane ticket and hotel room, but I did something a little better. I wanted to get proof, so if I had to go to court, it would be easier to win. I messaged her this. Hey, sorry for being so distant, but I just wanted to talk to you about Bali. I'm hurt that you didn't show up to the ceremony. I pulled a lot of strings to ensure that you could come, and then you didn't show up. Did you think I paid for the trip just so you could honeymoon with John? She replied, I've missed you a lot, and I know the trip was for your wedding, but John didn't want to go because he felt like your wedding ruined the illusion of the trip being our honeymoon and that you'd... Girl, we not here for a honeymoon. We're here for my friend. And this is what we could do. We could do honeymoon and wedding. Like when the wedding, because a wedding is just a day, right? And then you have a reception. Like you might have a reception dinner, and then you might have a wedding. So it's just one day, like maybe two. The remainder of the days, there's 7 days in a week. The 5 days, y'all could have a nice juicy ass honeymoon. Like, what are we doing? I replied, no, I don't understand. You took advantage of me, and that's not what real friends do. So I'm sending you and invoicing you $2,387.53. $2,387.53 for the cost of the plane ticket and the hotel room. I will give you 30 days, and after that, I will be taking legal action. I received no response, but she's been posting subliminal quotes on Instagram that are along the lines of entitled friends and having snakes in your life. Thank you all for the verdicts and help. Thank you all for your verdicts and help. Okay. So they're not the asshole. They're not the asshole because this is something I would do if I wanted to have a nice intimate wedding overseas. Right. I would definitely pay for everyone to make sure they could go. Damn, $2,000 for each person. How many friends did you bring? I'm just thinking if you just wanted to bring 5 friends, that's 10 bands on friends. Oh, I would be the best friend if I was able to go to Indonesia for free. I'd be like, what do you need? How can I help? Like, forget my honeymoon. Like, oh, no. That is so classless. Like, I'm so sorry. That is the classless thing you could ever do. Someone offers you like a free plane ticket and you don't hold your end of the bargain by going to their wedding. Ugh. See, this is why I wouldn't even like I said, it would be a very intimate, just family, friends, like maybe a family, a friend, maybe a friend. And then, we just eat a lot of food and that's it. Like, I don't want anything crazy, none of that. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to do too much. And then me and my husband or my partner would go on a like really nice, juicy ass, like 5-week long vacation. That's what I would do. But people want to do different things and that's fine. But this is so ratchet. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be classist. I don't mean to sound classist, but that is some ghetto ass shit. That is ratchet. Like, that is ratchet. I'm so sorry. What do you mean? Your friend paid for your wedding ticket to show up at their wedding, which was only going to be maybe like 2 days. And you're like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to enjoy my time in Bali and not go to my friend's wedding. No. If you're going to be there for the whole week, I don't know how long they were going to be there for, but y'all better squeeze that honeymoon in or save some money next year so y'all can have a honeymoon. What is that? That's ratchet. That is ratchet. Can't believe I'm saying this, but not the asshole. Someone offers to give you a free vacation on the condition that you attend one party during that time. I'd be jumping for that opportunity. Me too. I'd be the best of best friends. I would have the time of my life and I'd help out, bride to be. To take that free vacation and then no call, no show to your friend's wedding is a really shitty behavior on their part. They could just have extended their stay. That's another thing. You could extend your stay for another week and then have the honeymoon then. And then another thing is, like, if you don't got it, don't go. Like, if you know, even if you know that, and this is something that commonly happens with girls trips for some reason, but if you know that you can't really afford to, you know, go on the girls trip or go to the wedding trip after the play ticket, then you probably just shouldn't go. If they wanted to treat the trip as their own honeymoon. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Came in judging off the title, hard not the asshole, but the best you can do is dump that friend. I don't think the hassle's worth it. The courts will probably just see it as a gift. That's a lot of money though. $2,000 in this economy. I'm curious to see what OP does. I'm very curious to see what OP does. Because I can't imagine like paying for my friends to go to a trip out to Indonesia. Like I just can't. Per friend. Like even like you think about it, even like 3 people, that's $6,000. 3 people is 6,000. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I don't know. That's a lot of money to me. Literally, she wasn't even in the wedding party. All she had to do was show up, dance, eat cake and food. Funny thing enough is that they did go on a honeymoon. It just wasn't abroad. Oh, they did go on a honeymoon. Yeah, and then another thing I want to call out is Jim, her husband. Who the hell are you? Who are you? This is my friend. It's not about you. Who cares if you don't feel like going? You can stay home. I'm going to this wedding. Like, way to make it about yourself. Ugh. Yeah, I was really about to be like, girl, you are the asshole. Absolutely. But like, no. But I have heard stories of people cutting off their friends because they can't afford to attend their weddings because they can't afford it. And the friend isn't offering like, well, I'll cover your ticket. Well, like, what do you need? Do you need a dress? Like, I can help pay for that. They're like, oh, you can't afford to come to my wedding? You can't afford to go to the bachelorette party? You can't afford to travel to the UK so I can get married in some fancy castle and pay an extra couple £100? Okay, we're not friends anymore. Like, girl, no one, what? Like, no one's got it like that. Like, in this economy, no. And you keep up that spending, you're not going to have it like that either. Jeez. $2,300 is a lot of money, but at least you know that Gemma and John are a pair of asses. I just removed the connection with them. I feel like John is more of the asshole. Like, he's putting too much of an influence on Gemma. Before cutting ties with them, OP needs to ask for her money back. It is such an abusive friendship to take $2,000 and then not even bother to show up for the wedding. OP needs to tell her friend that the ticket that she provided was not intended for vacation, not the asshole. So what OP could do is she can make a claim with her bank and be like, yeah, this person did not honor the obligation of the money that I'd given them. So can I have like temporary credit? And then make it hard for them via, bank statements. Now they're up for investigation, or take them to small claims court. But, what's sending me is the cryptic Instagram posts of friends that are snakes. No, bitch, you're the snake. You're the snake. What are we doing? All right. Anyway, so I think I'm going to end things here. We're about to reach the 30-minute mark. So we're going to end things here. Thank you guys for tuning in for my Reddit Story Sunday. I'm trying to get back onto a consistent schedule again. Yeah. So Tuesdays, and I think we're going to change to Fridays. Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Not Thursdays. Thursdays are my leg days usually, and I get so exhausted after a leg day. Like, it's just like, ooh. Not even a leg day. It's technically a glute day. But I don't know. It takes a lot of energy out of me because I'm lifting really heavy. So we're going to do Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And if it changes, I'll update you. But I always put a comment and a link in community posts when I'm going live. Next week, we're going to be playing more Dispatch. I'm taking it one episode at a time. I'm not trying to play multiple episodes in one sitting because I know it's only a 9-episode game, so I'm taking my time with it. And oh my god, if you guys aren't tuned in to me playing Dispatch, I just want to say, like, completely out of context, but the main character that you play is fucking ugly. He's ugly. He is ugly. He is ugly. He is ugly. And Invisigal can do so much better. First of all, can we talk about, okay, so Dispatch is a video game about you dispatching different superheroes to complete their duties. Part of me thinks the game, like, format is, like, understandable, but, like, a little odd, because why should I have to tell superheroes what jokes to tell during, like, a conference meeting? Like, shouldn't they just know how to do that, right? But I do kind of like The Office meets, I don't know, Superman. I think that's kind of goofy, right? That's the whole, like, trope of it. But the main character, Robert Robertson, signs up to be a dispatch member because he comes from a lineage of superheroes, Mecha Man, and I guess they're like their version of Iron Man, where they're like in the suits and they operate it, except instead of being in like an Iron Man humanoid suit, they're in like this huge mecha, right? Which is creative. I like that. I just don't like Robert Robertson. I think he's an asshole. It might be between me not liking Robert Robertson and not liking the fact that Robert Robertson is macking on Invisigal, because I have a crush on Invisigal. And I'm just like, Invisigal, you are too much of a bad bitch to be with Robert Robertson. You're too much of a bad bitch. Okay, come on. Let's do this. Like, we all know that the concept artists created Invisigal to replace the lesbian bisexual panic that Vi from Arcane gave all of us. Okay? That Vi gave all of us in the Arcane series. We know what the purpose of Invisigal was, all right? We know what she was here for. We know what role she needed to fill. We know what shoes she needed to fill, all right? When season 2 was announced from Arcane to be the very last season, all the bisexuals and all the lesbians, all the queer folk were freaking out. Okay? Because, like, there's no more thirst traps anymore. All right. And so now we have Invisigal, who has the same silhouette as Vi, the same hairdo as Vi, the same outfit lineup as Vi. When I say silhouette, I mean like crop jacket, tight jeans, right? Like the same look, different color palette. Got little quirks to her, has asthma, still smoking, but still somehow is a badass. Cool, whatever. I love it. All right. She don't need to be macking on Robert Robertson. And she's gonna go for a guy. I'm gonna assume that she's like, I'm assuming that she's bi, all right? She goes both ways, okay? And she's gonna go for any dude. He's gotta be hot. He can't be Robert Robertson. Like he can't be, not on my watch. Not on my watch. I am playing that game out of sheer pettiness, because there's no way someone as hot as Invisigal and really as attractive as Blonde Blazer would be going for a Robert Robertson. Well, see, and that's the sad thing. All right, let me backtrack, because there are girls who would go for a Robert Robertson in real life. There are girls out here who would go for a broke, struggling superhero because he's antagonistic and tells it like it is in real life. And that's my problem. Because what are we doing? Like Phantasma Man, I can see throwing it back for him. The indigenous Hawaiian, let me see what his name is. Let me see what his name is. I'm gonna look up his name real quick. Royd? Oh yeah, Royd. Yes. Like let me show y'all Royd real quick. Let me show y'all Royd, because that is someone that I'd absolutely. This guy right here. This nigga right here. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm absolutely, like, I get it. I would throw it back for him. I would throw it back for Phantasma Man. Absolutely. But Robert Robertson. Robert Robertson, the struggling mecha man that lives in an empty ass LA apartment and can't even pay his bills. No furniture. Absolutely not. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. In my Iyanla voice. In my Iyanla voice. Aggressively. No. No, Invisigal. Think about your future, girl. Think about your future. What are y'all gonna do together? I guess towards the end of this, like, Mecha Man probably gets, like, his mecha suit and is able to make money being a superhero or whatever. But, like, girl, no. Struggle Love ain't it. Struggle Love ain't it. Sprinkle, sprinkle, girl. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay. I'm gonna head off now. But yeah. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Goodbye. Love y'all.